Hi, it's Pastor Dave. It's time for another COVID update. I think we're getting near toward the end. So, yay. Isn't this exciting? Few things to get right off the bat. First of all, we are in phase two, which means we can meet. We're allowed to meet. With that said, we might not be ready to meet. This disappoints everybody, but I will refer you back to the governor's homepage, and he has a 4-page packet of information for religious bodies that are attempting to open. We do need to comply because some of these things are common sense things. Some of these things are appeasing Caesar, but he is Caesar, right? And we do need to comply and be good citizens. Above all else, this is for our safety and for the weaker brother or sister, and I mean that literally, and I'm one of those weaker brothers or sisters. You do not want pastor to get COVID. You don't want certain members of our congregation who are over the age of 90 to get COVID. It will go badly for them. So we had a meeting this morning with members from PPC who could make it. And if you are on PPC and didn't know about it, it was a spur of the moment thing. But it was also a real nuts and bolts of who's going to do this work sort of meeting. And here's where we're at. With the amount of paperwork, and some of it's paperwork, some of it's making sure we're safe. And this will include lines on the floors and doors open and all kinds of stuff I'll get into here in a minute. What we're going to try to do is have a drive-in service if the weather is okay on Sunday. This is for a variety of reasons. First of all, not everybody gets all church emails. Not everybody reads all church emails, especially when they get long. While everybody in the congregation should have gotten the letter to the congregation, not everybody may have gotten it, not everybody may have read it. While I've asked everybody in the all church email and the letter and in various videos to go to the governor's website and to read the packet, it's 4 pages, and not everybody has gotten that time or interest to read it or really will read it, to be honest about it. And then what's it going to look like in Prince of Peace when we go and do? A lot of the things we're looking at will take another week to actually roll out. We had said it will be at least 7 days once we're given permission. That permission came on Friday. We'd natch the 5th. We'd naturally think the 14th. But as we dive into all the stuff we need to have ready to realistically keep everyone safe, it's an uphill slog and to comply. So we don't have to show all that paperwork or all of those things to the state to get permission. We do need to have them on file and actually need to do them before we open so that if there is an outbreak, we can show the state that we have made a good faith effort. A lot's riding on that good faith effort. If somebody in Clark County messes up, we could see a variety of things. They could say all churches need to turn in your paperwork. They could say all churches in Clark County can't meet until phase 3. That's a very real possibility. They could also say, although I think this is less likely, all churches in that denomination need to turn in their paperwork or are kicked back to level 3 because we can't trust you. I think that's less likely. I think you'd have to think like a thoroughgoing church person to do that, and that's not the state at all. But it's a very real thing, and we really don't want to be the church that sent all of Clark County back to phase 2 or phase 1. What is this going to look like? Again, we had planned for a mask optional service, the later service. The state has told us that's no dice. So both services will be mask only. Please bring a mask. If you don't have a mask, we're going to try to have some loaner masks that you can get. If you call to RSVP your spot, Lori will reassure you that you need to bring a mask for the time being. It's a big deal. You do need to get a mask. If you don't have one, when you talk to Lori, we can make some available for you if we know who you are. We're ordering some. This is going to be like going to the country club and they've got a loaner jacket. No, it's not going to be used. No, it's not going to be sprayed like bowling shoes. But you do need to end up with a mask. And if you end up with a mask from us, please keep it in your car. It's yours to use. It's a gift from your church to you, but please keep it in your car so we don't have to keep running through the masks. We understand if you run out. We understand if you couldn't have gotten one because you can't sew or you don't have the financial means. We do understand that, and we do anticipate meeting your needs in those regards. So don't worry if you don't have one, but let Lori know you need one, and we'll come up with a solution for that. The pews will be alternating, so there will be 10:30 pews and there will be 8:30 pews. Don't sit in the wrong pew. We will be cleaning the hard surfaces on the pew between services. This is fine, but don't touch the pews. The sanctuary will be closed until Wednesday. So after Sunday, the sanctuary will be closed to allow everything in the sanctuary to die. And that is per CDC recommendations. We can't clean every hard surface in the sanctuary. We can't get it clean enough. That means we have to just close it until everything's dead, and that is 3 days. So don't come into the sanctuary and just sit there and breathe the air Sunday afternoon. In terms of other things, we are suspending fellowship time for the summer, or until we get to phase 3 or 4. We're going to talk about it. This upsets me as well as I like coffee and I like talking to y'all, but it's a smaller space and it's just difficult. It just needs to not be for just a small amount of time for our safety. Also, how am I supposed to drink coffee and eat donuts or cookies, which by the way is the third sacrament, through a mask? Yeah. There's some problems. So it's just not going to be. The biggest change as well is we're only allowed 2 people in the bathroom at a time. 2. So there will be signs and maybe even tape on the floor directing you to go on the far side, how to refer to this, on the west side hall by the kindergarten classroom or the classroom. That is a one-way hall to the fellowship hall, around the back, and then down the east hall by the youth room and Diane's office to go to the bathroom. If you want to go to the fellowship hall from the sanctuary, you need to go down that one hall. Don't go by the youth room. It's a one-way loop. We've made a loop. This is per county health guidelines. We have to do this. So that means we need to print signs. We need to tape things down to the floor. We need hand sanitizing stations. All the hand sanitizing stations are made in China and are on back order until July or Christmas, who knows. So the only door to church that will be open, that will be used to come in, and again I say come in, will be the front door. I will get there early and I will open the front doors and prop them open. It's summer. It'll be okay. I don't know what we're going to do about winter. I don't know what we're going to do about Christmas. Just give it time. We're running here with what we got. The kitchen door that many of you key into with a keypad pin is not open for Sunday use. You can leave out of it, but you cannot come in because we need to know who's coming and going. We're capped at 50 people. So at this point, if you want to come to an in-person in the sanctuary service, you need to call Lori. And you need to reserve your place for the service you want, 8:30 or 10:30. You do need to do this weekly. I can't have, or we can't have folks coming and saying, I'm just always going to be an 8:30. And some people are in the medical state or the family state where they need to have a certain service, and it can't perennially be full with the same 50 people. It's not fair. It's not a thing. So I know it's kind of annoying, but it does give you flexibility as well. There are certain people that I'm kind of, unless you tell me otherwise, I was going to slot for the mask only service. But since both services are mask only, there it is. You have a little more freedom to choose. So if you were groaning at having to go to the 8:30, now you don't have to groan. So we are going to look at... you will know by Wednesday morning at the very latest if the drive-in service is on. So I hope that is on. If it's not, it will be another digital service, and we will look for the 21st for Father's Day weekend to be the first in person. We're still talking, depending on how things go, we're still talking about maybe having drive-in services until phase 3, maybe having drive-in services till we're all comfortable. I don't know. I know you hear I don't know a lot out of me, but I'm telling you, things change daily here. In terms of what the state wants, what the numbers we're seeing is the best practices for keeping everybody safe. If you pick out that thing from the state, the criteria for meeting back together, and I hope you read it because it really spells out what we have to do, and it's intense. Notice that for you church members, for you staff, read pages 1 and the most of 2. That's for you. For church members, most of it starts at the bottom of page 1 and is on numbered bullet points and goes through page 4. So imagine 4 pages or 3 pages, or sorry, starts on the back of page 1. So it is page 2. But just look for the numbered points, and most of those are for you guys. So it's not an easy thing. One of the things we have is a COVID compliance binder in the office. And so this will have our comprehensive COVID plan, and it will have our state requirements to make sure that we're meeting those. And it will have a bunch of other information in there as well. So if you want to see that, you can stop by the office and view the documents, as it were. You'll notice we have more signage up in the building. If you come in the building, there is more signage up. The state is asking us to have signage up. And guess what the signage says? Don't cough on people. Don't lick people. Don't come if you're sick, and wash your hands. So it is just like kindergarten. It is also saying wear a mask all the time. Clearly, if you're the only one in the building, don't worry about it. Just come on, man. That common sense here on this. So that leads me to the next point, the church office. So Lori's trying to work mostly her normal hours, mornings and then afternoons till 1 or 2 or 3. I'm not sure. Call ahead. If you need to do work in the office, call ahead. And I know Janet and Sue and Judy, to the extent that you watch these COVID updates, thank you for coming in. Thank you for pre-communicating as we're asking. But for Lori, it really is, occupancy in that office really is 1. So if you've already made arrangements with Lori, we're not looking at you. We're not talking to you. Mostly this is people stopping by church, which you're more than welcome to do, and coming to hang out and chat with Lori. Lori likes this. Lori's fine with this. Keep yourself away. Lori doesn't want to have to wear a mask all day, every day. And if nobody's around, she doesn't have to do that. If nobody's close to her, she doesn't have to do that. So, it is a thing. So if you're stopping by, saying hi to Lori in person, that's fine. Staying to chat is kind of we need to keep people in the building down. Other things that people have suggested. So if we're not meeting in person, because we're in phase 2, if you want to come into the sanctuary to have time to pray or read the Bible or worship, come on down. Just let Lori know you're in the building, and we're going to kind of RSVP this too a little bit. So that we have enough time to make sure the sanctuary, all the COVID, if somebody was in there, that the COVID has sunk to the floor, which is really kind of the standard for this. So it is open. If we are going to have online digital services in the short term while we're trying to make sure everything's safe, I will let everybody know if we're into the weeds for the 21st and need to have a digital service. I'll let you know when I tape. Because we can have 50 people come in and be in person and for a taping. That's okay now. So that's also an option, and I'll probably tape Wednesday or Thursday, just to let y'all have time to come out and have an all church email to let everybody know in RSVP. So those are options as well. Church groups are allowed to meet if you don't exceed 5 people. So this is just fabulous. Yeah, that's my life, working from home. If that was you trying to call me, then sorry. It is how it is. But that is also a sign that it's about time to wrap up. You'll know more by tomorrow, and we will get this going. But believe me when I say we're working as hard and as fast as we can to get things ready for meeting in person. Have a wonderful day in the Lord. Hopefully you'll have more information tomorrow.